Thanks for tuning in, Smash Team. Looking at solar minimum conditions. And we're going to get right into it. Looking at the sun in 193 angstroms. We see 0 sunspots. Some coronal holes in the Earth-facing region. And the North Pole coronal hole continues to grow as the 10.7 centimeter radial flux drops back down to 68. Down from where it was yesterday at 70. Let's look at another view or two. Here's 171 angstroms. We see that active plage setting on the western limb. Otherwise, just plain old very low levels of activity. There is a coronal hole wind stream hitting the Earth right now, and we'll cover it in a moment. First, we're going to look at 304 angstroms as well. And this is approximately 8.5 hours of solar activity just from today. So we see those filaments have rotated all the way around, and they're now setting. And I'm talking about the area on the right of your screen here associated with that active region, that giant plage. And let's look at the real-time solar wind here, as we've seen an elevation of it. Solar wind density back down to 6.9 or so, about 7 protons per cubic centimeter. And the wind speed remains elevated due to a coronal hole wind stream at 470 kilometers per second. Next, we'll look at the magnetosphere movies. Going to look at density and pressure. And this should show the last 4 hours. And welcome to the data archiving section of the video. We let these play through every day, as these archives are not yet accessible. Thanks for the model regardless, University of Michigan. Nothing extravagant there. Here's the pressure. A couple small striations in it there, nothing really to write home about. And things are looking pretty steady. Next, we're going to look at ground magnetic perturbations, changes in the Earth's B field. Those of you who understand things like polar excursions, you realize that there are 2 North Poles, one over northeastern Canada and one over Siberia. The Siberian one looks stronger than the Canadian one. The Canadian one is appearing to migrate to the southwest, and the South Pole is migrating into the southern Indian Ocean toward an area west of Australia. Check out smAsho.org. It's going to be changed up soon with some additional stuff. The mission is to assist, study, and report on the ongoing formation of a unified theory of physics to raise the awareness of the general public of the relationship between space weather and Earth effects, to connect and consult with media organizations to multiply our reach, to demonstrate cutting-edge proof of concept solutions to problems, to publish scientific papers in a multidisciplinary manner, including but not limited to sciences such as spectroscopy, chemistry, astrophysics, health, wellness, longevity, cosmology, biology, magnetohydrodynamics, geology, etc. Also to assist mankind by advancing the study of predictive phenomena in order to optimize value, reduce risk and liability, save lives and resources, and adapt no matter what the adversity is, and to not be ossified in our beliefs, and to treat those who are with love, respect, and inclusion to the scientific discussion. If you want to support that, please visit the links below this video, one of which is our Hemp Lucid Spaced Out campaign, specifically designed for our spaced out viewers. So if you want some CBDs, please visit the link below the video and use those links to purchase your CBDs to help support our channel. Other ways you can support it would be by shopping at theveloshop.net, as this is the cycling sponsor. It's the bike racing team. And if you're a prepper, I highly recommend you have a bike in your garage or maybe even shrink wrapped in your house. One of the good choices for a prepping bike would be a commuter / urban. Lots of choices there. And keep in mind, folks, in an extended grid down situation, gas will become unavailable and you could become the savior of your household and neighborhood by owning a bicycle. So yet another reason why cycling is a big deal. We're looking to raise money by the first day of summer, which is only a week away, and we got to raise another $5,445 to reach the target. So please donate in whatever way you can. Also, check out original music, also in the links below. Soundclick.com is highly produced. SoundCloud is a little bit older material and a little bit odder material. Look at spaceweather.com. We see some noctilucent clouds, and we see record-breaking noctilucent clouds during this solar minimum. This photo here from Saxony, Germany. I would reiterate that the 10.7 centimeter radio flux has dropped back down to 68, still above predicted values, solar minimum conditions. How about spaceweathernews.com? We see flatlined X-ray flux. We see some pretty steep spikes here in the GOES magnetometer. We'll look at the Gong 2 in a minute to look at the magnetic environment in more depth. We did reach unsettled geomagnetic conditions there for a moment last night, just before midnight universal time. Not a lot going on except a very low electron flux, as you can see here, measured by the GOES 14 and 15 at the F2 layer. We see no charging hazards here. And the F2 ionosphere layer is very discharged on the nighttime side and quite discharged on the daytime side too. So if you want to keep an eye on that throughout the day, that's probably going to change, expecting that to get a little charged. And there are the aurora forecasts. Some significant auroras there, especially in southwestern Canada. There's the aurora borealis, and there is the australis forecast. Here's the Gong 2 we talked about. And we do see some striations in the plasma right here, the outer corona, this area where my cursor is. We see some changes in the fields there. So that is something to keep an eye on. Perhaps an active region is rising. I see some plasma suspensions out here. And let's just look at another view real quick. We'll check out the line of sight field plot, which shows the B field of the sun, which is in blue. North pole field is green, south pole field is red. Those are the Z fields. Not a whole lot going on right now. The Earth is in the South Pole associated portion of the heliosphere, the current sheet, that is. We'll take a quick look at Stereo A's coronagraph as we typically do most days. Keep in mind, new viewers, that we do not need to have X-ray flares in order to have coronal mass ejections. Not a lot going on in the Earth-facing region right now. Pretty dark out there. Pretty dark out there. The location of your planets. Here's where they'll be in 1 week. That is the solstice, by the way, folks. Solstice occurs on the 21st. We will be doing a live stream at the exact time of the solstice. So stay tuned for that. If you're interested in what's going on above your head, check out in-the-sky.org. Make yourself a custom star chart. Here's what's going on above my head. Now I like to draw in the ecliptic. The location in the sky where you'll find things like Venus, the moon, the sun, Saturn, Jupiter. Venus just rising. If you have a low horizon, check it out in the morning. It'll look great. Look at cosmic rays real quick. Here's a Apatity in Barentsburg. A downtick at Apatity over the past few days, and a similar downtick at Barentsburg. Here's Athens. Here will be Athens. There's Athens. Slight downtick there as well. Next we'll go to Mexico City. There's the cosmic ray intensity there. Next, we'll look at Moscow. Moscow also ticking down after being at quite high levels there for the last 2 weeks. And lastly, we'll look at Oulu, DOMC, and DOMB Antarctica. There's Oulu, that's Finland. Down tick there. DOMC Antarctica, looking flat. DOMB Antarctica, slight uptick there, and we often see a disparity between the DOMC and the DOMB Antarctica monitors. Follow us on other social media if you like, if it makes it easier to share the videos with your friends. We're on Twitter, twitter.com/smAsho. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/smAsho, the social media that will censor you. We do interact a little bit there, and also on Instagram if you want to see some more behind the scenes stuff, such as yesterday when I filmed the Jack in the Pulpit plant. It is a carnivorous plant known as a Jack in the Pulpit, and there is the pitcher portion that eats bugs. It's now going into a seeding phase. Check it. Anyway, check us out on Instagram if you like, instagram.com/smAsho, as well as gab.com/smAsho. I'm told this is a Twitter alternative, and we will look into some interaction here in the near future. Also, check us out on minds.com/smAsho, social media that will not censor you. And if you haven't pressed like and subscribe on YouTube, please do, and press the notification bell, as you may even get notifications about our videos. Now, we did see a large quake in Chile. We're going to get to it in a moment. Let's just hit refresh here to make sure we have all the data, courtesy of USGS, which is the United States Geological Survey. So here we see a 5.0 in Guam. Dear U.S. military, thanks for your service. Leave us a comment if you are at the base in Guam and felt that quake. It's pretty large. Here's a 4.8 at Vanuatu at depth. Shout out Vanuatu. You may experience a larger quake at the surface. Thanks for joining, McCastiel and Gregory. Cheers. And thanks for taking the time to comment. Here we see a 4.7 in Indonesia, 4.9 at the Carlsberg Ridge, off the coast of Saudi Arabia. 4.8 in Chile, perhaps a precursor to that larger quake. Here's a 3.9 in Dominica, heads up Caribbean for a larger quake at the surface. 98 kilometers is pretty much blot echo depth. Watch out for a low level 4 magnitude quake at the surface. There's a 5.0 in Chile. Looks like a precursor. 5.2 north of New Zealand. And there's that 6.4, the largest quake. Let's take a zoom in on that. Look at the interactive map here real quick. So located off the coast. Hopefully it didn't do too much damage there. And there's the zoomed out location of that quake. Moving on. We also see a 4.8, very close by to the same spot. Looks like an aftershock. 4.6 at the Carlsberg Ridge, a second quake right in the same area, a little bit southeast of the original one. So 4.7 at Papua New Guinea, 4.5 at Chile. Looks like an aftershock. Here's a 4.2 at Nicaragua. There's a 3.4 in Oklahoma. Shout out if that's a frac quake. I'm not going to zoom in on it. Here's a 5.2 at Tonga. So we did see a small uptick in earthquakes here, folks. Not a lot of deep quakes. That's a good sign for folks in earthquake-prone zones. Another 4.9 at the Carlsberg Ridge. 4.1 at Chile. 4.4 at Chile. 5.2 at Vanuatu. 4.8 at Indonesia. 5.1 at Indonesia. 5.3 at Guam. Just coming in an hour and a half ago. And a deep quake at Fiji. Shout out Fijians. That quake over 500 kilometers depth, just coming in about a half an hour ago. Be aware of the possibility of a larger quake at the surface. Here are the pressure maps. I'm just going to let this play through and let you know that anomalous low pressure systems tend to be associated with earthquakes, folks. So if you see an odd low pressure system around, especially in an area like Fiji where they just had a 500-kilometer deep quake, that's a risk factor. Low pressure systems tend to move west to east. If you see one moving the wrong way, that's an anomalous system. And we're just letting this advance here. By the way, windy.com has a fantastic mobile app, which could really help you out if you are out and about. And while we're on Windy, let's just check and see how hot the planet is. Do a little global warming update. As I know, a lot of folks are very concerned about how hot the planet is. Let's take a quick survey by looking at anybody, snow depth. And there's the snow depth map. I know a lot of folks are worried about Greenland melting. There's the snow cover on Greenland. And that says more than 5 meters. Of course, at that spot, it's only 185.2 inches. So it looks like 9 feet of snow coast to coast on Greenland. I'm not convinced it's melting. Are you? Leave a comment. Let us know. Interact. Share the videos. We're shadow banned everywhere. U.S. Doppler radar. We see some lightning across the central U.S. there, Oklahoma and Kansas and Nebraska. Look at the water vapor map and keep this video as short as possible, as there is a lot of stuff to do. We're going to zoom in on this convergence zone as dry air is in control above my head. The rain has just ceased. And there's that. One bonus thing we're going to do here. We're going to look at tropical tidbits. I just want to look at the global jet stream. So we're going to bring up forecast models real quick. Going to look at upper dynamics, the 250 millibar wind, which is a good proxy for the jet stream. And then we're going to go to the region of the whole world. As the last time we looked at this, the northern hemisphere didn't even have a jet stream. So let's let that play. You see the south hemisphere jet stream is pretty well defined. The northern hemisphere jet stream is being ruled by convection, not by reliable wind currents. So this is not even meridional jet stream flow, folks. This is not a jet stream. There's where it's been the last couple of days, and here's where it's going. It is all over the place. And if you're experiencing weird weather in the northern hemisphere, it's because of that jet stream. It's not because of carbon dioxide. Here's a lightning maps at lightningmaps.org. And can I give somebody a lightning warning? Let's see. Who's got thunder? Next time you hear thunder, check out lightningmaps.org. Zoom in on your location. Looks like a rural region. Junction City, those mountains are going to block you from hearing that thunder. Shout out if you've ever used lightningmaps.org to calculate air viscosity. Just kidding, folks. Just kidding. That's a little too advanced. Check out the Watchers, which is the watchers.news, if you weren't aware. At least 30 dead and 2.2 million affected as heavy rains hit southern China. millions affected, 2.2 million that is, in Guizhou, Guangdong. Anyway, links to the article in the description below the video. So please visit our links. Volcano rundown. Explosive activity has begun at Shivaluch, so back on the list, 13,000-foot ash plume there. Dacono, with its steady 7,000-foot ash plume for weeks and indeed months. Revenador, explosive activity going on there. 15,000-foot ash plume. And please do not attempt to do a forward roll over the Sabancaya caldera as it's producing a 24,000-foot plume of ash. Move on to the that is an ass and that is a hole in the ground section, as we like to identify wildlife as well as geologic features. Let's define a term. Quasar, a region at the center of a galaxy that produces an extremely large amount of radiation. Now, quasars challenge cosmology in that things like gravitational accretion and inertia do not appear to be running the show. Regular viewers are probably well aware that things like electromagnetism, electric current, Hall currents, etc., and ionization pathways are the basis on which things form in our universe. So I find it pretty funny when astronomers are confused by a quasar, as they think black holes are vacuums. Black holes act like fountains. Here's some more wildlife identification. We've got two different types of vultures here. One is a useful creature, which is good for the environment. One is a harmful creature that is very bad for the environment. If you want any custom memes, email me, smashomash@gmail.com, and I'll consider it. We're going to skip transients, but if you want to look them up, just look up the Swift/BAT hard X-ray transient monitor, and you'll get to this page with hundreds of hard X-ray sources. The transients are being measured all the time. Now, let's look at an article on SciTech Daily. Links in the description of this one. Also, for further reading, Sophia reveals what may be keeping Milky Way's black hole quiet. And it's a bunch of dust. And challenging cosmology, yes. As astrophysics gets rewritten, I welcome you to the Neo-Renaissance. As we're starting to understand how this stuff really works. And it takes a while for folks to get it. So check out the article. Some more creepy stuff going on in China. How creepy can it get? Creepy enough to send you a ticket, even if you're a child. In other words, not only do they put your photo up on public screens when you jaywalk, but there's some possibility that they will ping your phone and send a fine directly to your phone. Hold on, let me get the quote for you. Let me see here. Anyway, we've got links to the article in the description below the video also, so please check that out. Anyway, this is even happening to children in China, which has sparked a little bit of outrage. Although outrage in China doesn't really usually amount to very much. Let's hope nobody gets run over by a tank. Here's an article from CosmosMagazine.com. Herbicide-resistant superweeds on the rise. Is it a surprise that some weeds have become immune to glyphosate? Is that a surprise to you? This idea of just spraying pesticides all over everything and having glyphosate-resistant plants is a stupid idea. And yet another reason why we're growing our own food, and we suggest you do too. Links to this article as well. Before we go back, let's go back to quasars. New class of cold quasars was unknown until now. Well, why is this relevant? Well, because this challenges cosmology also. These things are not formed based on gravitational accretion. They are formed on ionization pathways, the same way clouds are formed on Earth. So galactic nuclei and clouds might be less dissimilar than you may think. Lastly, one more article. Evidence found of cosmic collision with massive dark matter, quote, clump, end quote. Because when astronomers see something they don't understand in terms of galactic motions, they blame dark matter pretty much categorically. Anyway, this is about the stream of stars located in the Milky Way galaxy. There's a stream of stars pulled and or pushed out of the galaxy. And so anyway, just read the article. It's not going to really teach you anything, but it does illustrate the misunderstanding of how these objects operate. Let's go to the 94 angstroms view and then get out of here. Now, the 94 angstroms view, this is 8.5 hours. 94 angstroms view takes 5 times as many photographs as others. And there isn't a lot to take photographs of because the sun is extremely quiet. Thanks again for tuning in, everybody. Let me just get through the comments here. And then we are out. All right, so it's about that time. Thanks again for tuning in. Please visit the links in the description. Please press like and subscribe and press the notification bell. Also, when you're staring at the sun, don't drink. And if you drink, stare at the sun anyway. Just please don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may the solar wind be at your back and the atherosclerosis absent from your veins.